Welcome back. Hey, our next guest is a lifestyle and transformational coach, an author, a speaker. She's been on the show before. I don't know, with all that's going on now, how do you navigate life? Welcome, Georgia Woodbine. We welcome you to the show. She's no stranger to the show. And the last time I saw you, I think we were in January, the month of January, right?
Yes. No one could have predicted what was going to happen now, you know?
Yeah.
You
So,
know,
I mean, what are you doing different now that we are living in this pandemic?
well, this is not the first time we've ever actually experienced a pandemic like this. There was the Spanish flu back in 1918 that basically 500 million people were infected. 50 million people did die. But when you think about these types of influenzas, also the Black Plague, which was in 1347. So they have been these types of pandemics. And I think that's what keeps me with a sense of hope to know that we've been through something like this and we have recovered from something like this. The coronavirus has definitely had a major impact on the world. But I feel that what's happening right now is a global shift of consciousness. Everyone's consciousness level is definitely being tested and it's no longer business as usual. People are starting to look at their life and realizing that there are going to be times in your life where you do not have control. And this interruption of our daily living has left us all vulnerable. There's no doubt about that. But it's also have shown us how interconnected we are as a community and as people. Because right now, everyone is on one plane level. Doesn't matter what race you are, what gender you are, what religion you are, what culture you are. Everybody is in the same place. And that is the place of being fearful of the unknown.
Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Tell us about some of your coaching. What can you do in these times?
It's so funny because one of the things I teach as a lifestyle coach is mindset transformation. And really, you can't change anything unless you change your mindset. What I'm talking about, you cannot change what's going on in the world right now. But what you do have the power to do is change how you're going to respond and change how you're going to react. So I always deal with the mindset because you can't change what you don't confront. So part of what I share with others, and it's so funny, especially now, I have so many people reaching out to me to do interviews because I have been talking about this for over 15 years, about how to prepare yourself for transformation, how to prepare yourself for change. You can't control what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, but you can control how you're going to respond to it. And taking control of your life is always about taking control of your mindset. When you challenge yourself to do something you've never done, you push yourself mentally to think outside of the box. And I believe that's what's happening right now, because you'll see so many things on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. People are coming up with so many creative ways of how to this new thing, social distancing, which sounds weird because it's social, but it's distancing. And I don't know how you could use that in the same sentence.
Well, social media was a new thing too. Social media, right, where everybody gets involved. And I think we're using social media now more so than ever before. But some people are like, enough, and pulling their hair out, But yes, social distancing, I think we're going to have to be doing that for a while in order to get back in line.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's amazing to think about technology and how we have evolved over the past 10 years or even 15, 20 years to be able to, like you said, in in the 1900s, they didn't have this to connect with their families, to call their loved ones, to FaceTime, to do video. It's this past weekend, I just want to share something personal real quickly, is that my mom called all of us and said, I want to do a prayer. And she's not really savvy with technology and video, but she said she wanted to do it by free conference call. So she actually used this number that we were using 15 years ago to do a prayer line where we would just have people call in and we would pray for people. And she said, I want to do this. And she contacted all the family members, text everyone. We all called into this prayer line on Easter Sunday, which I felt was so needed. And it was so well received by everyone, because I've had people in my family that has been impacted by this virus, as
Sure.
well as a death. So just for us to come together and pray for each other and to share what we're feeling and our emotions with everybody on the phone at the same time, it was like a reunion, but on the telephone. We couldn't see each other, but we could hear each other. And it's so important right now for families to come together.
I think so. But what has changed in your line of business? I know you're into the coaching business, into the life-changing business. You're navigating life, you're also known as a change agent. But how are you using your change agency now under these conditions?
Well, I can say that I thank God, because I've been mentally prepared, meaning I have been through things in life where I have experienced loss of a job, loss of a loved one, health issues. And so it has definitely prepared me for now to be able to inspire, empower, motivate others that, you know what, this too shall pass. You will get through this. Hold on to your faith. I know it's so hard for people. They say it's easier said than done, but This is a time when your faith is being tested, people. And when you have no control over anything that's happening, you have to find solace in that. You have to find peace in that, because what happens is you start to let the media and the news consume your thoughts. And then therefore, that's when all this fear and anxiety kicks in of, am I next? Or who's next? Is it someone I know? Is it someone in my family? And you cannot go on in life with thinking with that mindset. And one of the things I share too with my clients and people that reach out to me is that you could choose two things. One of the two things. You could choose to make this moment paralyze you, or you can choose to make this moment liberate you. And so you have the power of choice, people. That's what you have right now. You have the power of choice of how you're going to do things differently, on how you're going to tell people that you love them and not wait to the last moment, of how you're going to utilize your time more wisely and make things more, prioritize your life and do things that have more meaning. So there are a few tips, and when we get, I'll let you talk, then you tell me. I have some tips on how people can deal with navigating beyond their fears.
Well, give us a few tips.
So the first thing I would have to say is to take a news diet. Now, why I say take a news diet is because I think when you consume your thoughts and you consume your mind, it starts to affect your physical body. So I'm not saying don't watch the news and not to be aware of what's going on. What I'm saying is to be mindful of the times that you're watching the news. Don't watch it early in the morning, and don't watch it before you go to bed, because that's when your thoughts and everything is percolating and moving, and you don't want to have those thoughts in your head when you wake up in the morning and right before you go to bed. Another thing that I've been sharing is try to learn something new, learn a new language, do exercise classes. There's so many free classes on YouTube on different things that you can do to utilize your time. A lot of people have been looking at this from a negative perspective, but I have been looking at it from a positive perspective. How many people that have not sat down and had dinner with their families because they're so inundated and so busy? How many people have not taken walks with their family members, with their children, with their spouses at this particular time? How many people have always wanted the opportunity to work from home, but never had that opportunity, that are now able to do that with their children now. So I choose to look at it in a different perspective. And I think we talked about this last time when I was on your show. There's a quote: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So you have to change your perspective. Another thing is to embrace solitude. You know, people think that being alone is lonely, and being alone does not have to be lonely. When you embrace solitude, what happens is you can enhance your quality of your relationships with yourself and with others. And by spending time with yourself to gain better understanding of who you are, especially right now, is so important with the choices you're going to make once this has passed.
And who did that better than Mandela? I met
Oh
Mandela, and I went over to Robben Island over in South Africa, and they showed his jail cell, and they showed some of those items that are still there. For 27 years, he had to get into himself before he got out and became president. For 27 years. So if he can do it for 27 years, I mean, we're isolated or quarantined for about a month now or so. But still,
yes.
After this quarantine, tell me, how are we going to get out the front door?
Well, I think that, the best way to cope with change is to allow yourself to have a transformational mindset. Life, like I said, everybody's not going to be the same after this. Well, at least I hope not, because I hope that people will use this time to reflect, self-reflect, and self-evaluate, and realize that there's going to be moments in my life where I don't have control. And so therefore I have to surrender to a higher force, a higher power, a higher being beyond myself, to search for meaning of life. There's a book called Man's Search for Meaning. I don't know if you ever read that book, Bob, but it's so important about really finding the meaning about what you're here. And this is what we were talking about before, how to utilize this time to find out what your passion is, to find out what your gifts are, to find out how you can use your gifts and talents right now to share with other people, to inspire other people, to empower other people. People have been talking about, I would like to start a podcast, or I'd like to start a radio show, I'd like to do this, but because of my job, I don't have time. Yeah, now you have time. Now you have time. So use the time wisely. Use the time wisely, people.
Georgia, how can we get more information on what you're doing?
You can go to my website, www.georgiawoodbine.com. I have lots of videos there, lots of things to kind of keep you inspired. And I know we're going to end, but I wanted to say quickly, what I have been noticing, Bob, is that, I don't know if you know, but in springtime, there's a lot of cherry blossom trees. And I see a lot of them around. They're usually white in color or pink in color. Yeah. And most people don't know that cherry blossom trees are a symbolism of renewal. It's
a new beginning.
It's a new beginning, and that's what we're having. It's a shift, but it's a new beginning.
There you go. So just embrace that paradigm shift. All right, yes. Georgia Woodbine, give us a website one time.
www.georgiawoodbine.com.
There you go. Lifestyle transformational coach, author, and speaker. And I didn't forget about your book, BS.
Yes.
Body and Soul.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Take care. Georgia Woodbine, lifestyle transformational coach and author and speaker. We'll take a break right here and come back with more.